Yo, it's Captain bringing you round 6 of Steam Next Fest Demo Palooza. I'm gonna show you some gameplay of the demos. I'm gonna tell you what I thought about them. We did like rapid fire today because it's the last day, it's the final day. Probably by the time you see this video, Next Fest is over, but some of the demos stick around. Some of them stick around a few extra days, some of them stick around a week, some of them just always stay around. So check. You might still catch your favorite demo and get a shot at it. Today we're going to do it a little differently because I'm really late and I'm out of time. I almost didn't do this video, but dang it, I really wanted to do the video. So I'm going to try. So I'm actually just going to live scrub through the video, my video of the stream to show you the gameplay. And I don't know, this might not have timestamps or anything, but I wanted to get it out there. So we're just going to roll with it. We're going to go for it. And I'm gonna try to tell you, because we did 6 demos today. We went all out, and I did it in less time. It was like shorter bonus stream. We went all out. I wanted to get as many demos as I could. So my impressions might be a little shorter for some of them, but I'm still gonna talk to them. I'm still gonna tell you about them. And let me tell you which ones they were. We did Parcel Corps, which is a like a BMX trick bike game about parcel delivery. With a really nice style. We did Exoracer, which is like a one-button challenge racer with like a little cube cat thing. It's pretty cute. It's like score attacks and leaderboards type of thing. We did Big Boy Boxing, which is this is like an homage to Punch Out and over the top and zany and quite fun and chill and like simple. We did Metal Slug Tactics, which is a tactics game in the Metal Slug universe, and it had a really nice Metal Slug feeling to it, and it had an interesting way of doing the tactics. We did Wild Bastards, which is probably going to get this video just not shown to anybody on YouTube, but whatever, that's the name of the game. It is a very stylish shooter. Like arcade shooter, maybe? I have not fully versed on the shooters. You'll see but it's like a roguelike shooter with a lot of style and a very Western, tough talking feel, as you might be able to tell by the name. And then lastly, we did SCHiM. I don't know. I don't know how to say the developers' names either. It's somewhere mid-northern Europe with the crazy names. I mean, they're normal names for them, but for my tongue, I can't pronounce them. I can't say them. So I'll do my best and just apologize to the devs when I get there. But it is it's technically like a platformer, but it's got this nice visual style and it's kind of chill and it's not quite what you'd think. It almost looks like a puzzle piece game, but it's a platformer. So I don't know if you'd call it 3D or 2D, but you'll see when we get there. So that's what we did. We did 6 games today. And so you can see I'm running late. Definitely didn't have time to do setup, much less for 6 games. So hopefully it's okay. I'm sorry if the production value for this video is lower, but it was either that or not put out a video. I was like contemplating how to write, a more no video today message. I was like, screw it, I want to do this. So that's what we're gonna do. So let's jump right in. Let me make sure I've got this. It does look good. Let's jump right in. I'll show you some gameplay for, I think it's this one. Nope, it's this one. Had to get the camera covered the right place. For Parcel Corps, developed by Billy Goat Entertainment Limited, published by Secret Mode, and like I said, this is a BMX tricky bike game. Will eventually, there we go. Which is a BMX tricky bike game, right? You could jump around, you can do tricks, you can go on the walls, you can try to stay on the top lane, and you can get screwed up and fall down. And then get ran over by cars and all this crazy stuff. This game felt really good to control. It felt like I've played, I'm not like a sports gamer, but I remember when it was all like SSX tricky and it was Wave Race and it was Tony Hawk's and that was all like the big stuff and everybody would play it, and I you know what? I like those games, even though I'm not really gonna go out on my skateboard because I'll probably just fall and hurt myself. But I had a really good time doing them and doing the tricks and stuff. And this one has that. I never really got to the tricks in this game because I was never quite good enough to deal with it. But I did appreciate just the speed and momentum of it, the controls of it. It did feel good. As you can see, you kind of like, so you run around and you get these crazy characters. One of the appealing things about this game is just how much style it has. It's like this urban like extreme juice. As you can see, the guy's hands are really big and whatever. This guy's nuts. You could pick from like 9 characters for your biker out of 3 different gangs. There was like 3 teams and they each had 3 bikers. I picked this guy because I don't know, I liked his big backpack. But they also had like a big guy with a red beard, like a big ginger beard. They had like a girl with a prosthetic leg, but she had it like tricked out to look cool, right? Because they all got like pads. It's all this like, I don't know what to call it. I'm not a fashion major, but it's this kind of like modern urban style, but not like the grungy 90s style that you see like with Splatoon or with like ZZZ coming up. It's more of like a pop, bright, you know, oversaturated kind of thing, and which appeals to me a lot more. So it was nice. I enjoyed the style, I enjoyed the kookiness, and I enjoyed trying to get some of these drives, but it was pretty bad. Like this one, you see it has a fragile meter, so you couldn't break. Well, and they all have timers, as you can see. Let me see if I can get to where we're just like driving around. So eventually I gave up because I was bad at this. I will tell you, so I did have a problem, and it wasn't just that I wasn't good at it yet. I had a problem with this because I couldn't, they said it was a pre-alpha demo, and it didn't have a lot of settings, and so I had a lot of trouble getting it to like be set up right and do all this kind of stuff. And I had a lot of trouble like getting it to run. I don't think I ever got it to run with a good frame rate, which this game gets going really fast and you're like trying to do fast reactions. It made it pretty tricky, and not like the cool kind of tricky, but like the annoying kind of tricky where I couldn't get it right. And that was the most frustrating thing. Now I understand, right? They said it's a pre-alpha demo. It's like they said it was really early and they were trying stuff, and I get that. So I'm not really gonna fault them for it. Here you go. Just try to zoom ahead here and show you some. I think this is when I finally gave up on trying to do the deliveries and just wanted to run around and do some cool stuff. But I think if you could get the frame rate right, because there was like no graphic settings, there was just resolution, and even when I knocked it down, as soon as I got to a cutscene, it popped it back up. It was crazy. But if you could get it right, the controls felt good, and I like what they're going for. So, all right, I think I've talked too long about that. I think you get it. This is Parcel Corps, developed by Billy Goat Entertainment and publisher Secret Mode. I like what they're doing. I wish the demo had better settings choices so that I could get that frame rate that I needed, so I could make the really quick decisions and pull off the cool tricks. Very cool. All right, so that was that one. Next game, I'm telling you, I'm going to do this live. Next game is Exoracer. Bam, here you go. Exoracer, developed by Nyan Studio Games, published by Nyan Studio Games, and as you can see, it's a platformer, but you don't. Oh, hold on. Got to do it live. It's a platformer, but it took me a little bit. It's just a one button platformer. It was just left clicks. I could use the space bar. Weirdly enough, I couldn't use the A button on my controller. I don't know if I was doing something wrong or whatever, but it's a one button deal. So the longer you hit the button, the farther you'll jump. And so you've got to like time it. And then they've got all these little things that you can interact with as you're going. So if you hit the button on those green arrows, it'll boost you. If you hit the button on like an elevator pad, as long as you hold it down, you'll elevate, right? They had ones where you could swing from poles, and so you hit the button and it would attach a string and you would swing in an arc, and then you let go to let go, and you would use the momentum to carry you. So it was all about like getting the momentum, getting those button presses timed right and well, and trying to get through the course as fast as you can. And so it's like a score attack. It took me a little bit. If you wonder why it keeps going, it took me a little bit to figure this out. They give you like 2 minutes. The race starts, and you have 2 minutes to post the best time you can. So you know, your individual run has a timer, but if you see the timer above that timer, that's the whole race timer. So you have until the race ends to get as good a time as you can. So you run it and you run it and you run it. If you die, you start over. Even if you beat it, you start over and try to beat your time because everyone else is going to keep playing. Also, Mark sucks and he's a loser and he won every damn time. But it comes with a bunch of levels, as you can see, and it has like user-made levels. I don't think they're in the demo, but that's the idea. You have user-made demo, you have user-made levels, you have, it said they're gonna have like seasonal levels. Let's see, I'm on the title screen here, but it had all sorts of stuff. Hold on, we don't want to see the settings. What are we doing? Let me see, this one's got like wall climb things. So if you hit the button on a wall climb thing, you'll jump off the wall. It has little speed boosters. And so you just kind of like go and you try to do it. And it's all about like just timing your clicks right and going as fast as you can, keeping the momentum up. It's really chill. It's one of those score attack games. I think somebody in the chat compared it to oh, I don't remember. Dang, I always forget the name of it. There's a bike game where you like build levels in it and then get everybody to try them and whatnot. Here, let me see if I can show you one of the cooler levels. Here you go. This was their example of like a custom made level. I don't know if a player actually made it or they just made it as an example of a custom made level. But you see, it's got a lot more stuff going on, and it's got like all these little things to click on, these little elevators to play with. Things are going wild, and it actually was a challenge just for me to complete that one, just to even hit the buttons right. And I think we did another one. And you can customize your little guy. You can customize your little guy and do things, and they showed like part of the progression is you can unlock things to customize your little guy and stuff. So I don't know. I like this. If you're into those score attack games, if you're into like, here's the daily challenge and everybody's going to play, or you just want to do like some race games with your friends, that kind of thing, because you could make lobbies and stuff in this game. Not in the demo, but it was there. This would be that kind of game for you. And I really liked that it was just one button. You didn't hit left or right. It was one-handed, one button. That's all you did. And I thought that concept was fun, and like just a nice to work on the precision platforming that way. So it was cool to me. So that was Exoracer by Nyan Studio Games, published by the same Nyan Studio Games. All right, let's do number 3. We're still moving. This one is Big Boy Boxing by Soupmasters, published by Soupmasters as well. This is in the vein of Punch Out. As you can see, it's quite over the top. You pick a fight. It's very easy. It's very like simple controls. It's very snappy. It's very easy that way, but then it's not necessarily easy to like play it. Punch Out is notoriously hard. I found this easier than Punch Out, but I mean, we just did the first couple of rounds. But it's all about like, so there's this bombastic intro to each one. As you can see, this fighter, he's like, yes, I'm clearly an adult. I'm clearly an adult. And it's got like crazy sounds and stuff playing. The title screen's very loud, by the way. If you play this demo, turn your volume down before you start it. But you can see, right, this is clearly not an adult. It's 3 kids in a trench coat. And so as you beat him up enough, you knock one out, and then now he's over here on the side punching me. And I've got to try to figure out how not to get hit by him. Now I've knocked another one out, and he's up top. It's like, oh no, he got me. And so they're not hard once you figure out what the gimmick is, but each fighter has a gimmick. We had one guy who was like, here, let me zoom ahead. And then they have like little challenges, right? So you can, maybe once you figure out the gimmick, it's not too hard to beat it. My camera's kind of covering them, but there's like 3 little challenges to do. Like this one was block 3 pillows. This one, never dodge left or right. Don't plop out any kids. I have no idea how you would beat this guy without knocking out any of the kids. Like, what? How does that work? I thought when he just gets to a low health, he knocks out the. But you can hit like chest and head, so it's like maybe if you hit the chest too much, the chest one pops out. You know, there's a gimmick to each one, and so it's a little bit of fun. It's not. It's I think it'd be kind of quick if you're just like, well, I'm just gonna go beat him real quick. But if you wanted to really explore the fight design, I think you'd have a lot more fun with it. So let me see if I could show you like another guy. See, there's this guy. Jim Chad is his name, right? And he's like lifting weights. It's absolutely insane. This game is hilarious. And then you fight him, and basically throws the weight at you. So what you have to do is, his attacks are instant. That's his gimmick. But his animation tells you what attack he's going to use. So basically, you read the animation, and then you have. You know at some point he's going to give you an instant attack from a direction and you're going to need to dodge it. And so it becomes a little challenge of, well, how much are you going to hit him? How much are you going to risk it so that you can get your, so you can keep your time down, you know? But that's how this game works. You can dodge left, dodge right, you can duck, you can attack high, and then you have like a super punch you can do if you get him stunned. So I don't know. This game was cute. It was fun. It was silly. I had a good time with it, and it's very much Punch Out. All right, that was Big Boy Boxing by Soupmasters. All right, next. Next is Metal Slug Tactics. I gotta move my camera again. Metal Slug. It's not quite in the right place. I should have made more scenes. I should have made like 5 scenes for the different places to cover my stream camera, but here, it'll work. It's gonna be messed up later now. But this is Metal Slug Tactics by Leikir Studio. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Leikir, Leikir Studio. And published by Dotemu and Gamera Games. And this is a tactics game. As you can see, it's kind of explaining me how to do the tactics. But it's in the Metal Slug universe. So everything's very Metal Slug. It's making a bunch of Metal Slug sounds. And I will say, it even has the announcer. As the announcer guy, it'll like announce your stuff. I will say the presentation of this was very high. You know, it had really good sound, it had really good audio. It like all the UI was there. Everything was really nice. You could tell it was like it had a high level of polish. It was which is a high level of presentation. All right, let me see if I can zoom ahead so you can see some tougher stuff. Because like what was interesting to me about this game is that. Let's see if I can get to like the final bit. What was interesting to me about this game is that you could only attack in a straight line. So, but you could get like sync attacks. So you were trying to move your characters in such a way where it's like Bomberman tactics. You were trying to move your characters in such a way so they were in line with the enemies. And then you could do an attack, and your other characters, if they were in range, would get a sync attack. And so it's not about like I actually had a lot of trouble with this. I'm usually pretty good with tactics games, but that shift that I couldn't just shoot at them, I had to like chess piece move in line with them. Really blew my mind, and I actually messed up quite a bit. But you know, you get advantages if you set up multiple alignments. But then of course. You got to worry about the enemy, you know, moving and messing with you too. So in a lot of tactics games, you just do your turn and then move to cover or move to cover and do your turn. It's all about, you know, the movement isn't so much relevant as long as you're in range and in cover. But this one, you can take cover and you don't even have to be behind it. Like if you're in cover, anybody who hits you, even if they're right behind you, you're gonna receive a benefit from the cover. So it like the cover is like the cover is like a little less relevant than you think. It's like, well, if you're just there, you're there, you know. But also you don't need to be there as much because the enemy has to be in line with you to hit you, and you're trying to do lineups. So I mean, of course they could move and shoot you and whatever, but like it's not like everybody could shoot you all at once because you're out of cover, right? They're gonna have to get in the Bomberman squares with you. So you're a little safer out in the open, kind of. But I don't know. Like I said, I had trouble wrapping my head around this. But like you're gonna get so much advantage to moving yourself into position so you can get the chain attacks. And there's an ability where the more spaces you move, the more resources you get. So you get more dodge. If you move really far, you get a dodge, which reduces damage. So again, you can just move out into the open. You're gonna get a damage reduction, even though you're in the open. And you get more adrenaline points, which is how you use your special abilities. So you can see they're kind of like incentivizing you to move around, and you kind of have to because you can't just shoot anywhere. It's not just go to cover and shoot and then maybe move to another cover and shoot. It's you're really supposed to be moving around playing the chess game, which I thought was interesting. Oh, I should tell you, it's also a roguelike game. So it's you pick your guys and then you go on like a little mini mission, and they've got the board set up. Here, I saw it right at the end. Like I said, this is one of those ones I could have spent more time with, and I didn't get to. But here you go. So it's this kind of board, right? Enemy response in 4 missions. So you're gonna go pick it on these board, and then you go through it, and that's kind of like your mission, and you got to try to get through it all. I don't exactly know like if there's a big boss fight at the end. I don't know if each one of these are fights or whatever, but that's how the roguelike part works. You go through this, you try to get through it all. There's a little bit that you have your base where you pick your characters to go on that mission, and then you kind of do it. So I mean, to be fair, XCOM works that way too. It's just you have a metagame where your base changes. And you can lose the base game. Whereas this one, it seems like a base is a reset, and then you get to go out and do it. I don't know. I didn't get to spend more time with it, but I did like what they were doing with. The tactics themselves, because it was weird for me and hard to wrap my head around, but it was at least different. I like tactics games. I've played quite a few of them, and I enjoy them. But it was kind of nice just to be like, oh, this one works more differently than some of the others. Like it's like a fundamental shift. So that was cool. I don't know, maybe if you played more tactic games than me, you'll be like, Captain, it's not that crazy. But to me, it was interesting and fun. It was like Mario and Rabbids, where you could jump on things and it gave like a fresh element to the tactics. To me, this is like, well, it's like Bomberman, and it's a fresh element to the tactics. So that was Metal Slug Tactics, developed by Leikir Studio and published by Dotemu Dotemu and Gamera Games. Okay, next. Next, we got 2 more. All right, next is Wild Bastards, and well, here you're in the game, but this is not the here. There we go. This is Wild Bastards, and as you can see, it is a shooter, like an arcade kind of shooter. It felt good. I liked it. But it has some hero shooter elements. It is also a roguelike game. So you have, similar to the last one, it's a map kind of thing like the last one, where you got to get through a map in so long, and the map has fight stages like these. They're called, it's very Western. Oh, I didn't realize the words of the game are right over the, right over the ammo. Whoops. I think these are called like showdowns or whatever, and so you've got like 3 bandits you got to take out, and you're running around. But you've got hero shoot elements because it's got a bunch of cool characters. There's a lot of neat variety of characters, and they essentially have different types of guns. So like we've got this guy with a shotgun, and we've got a girl with dual pistols. And you can switch between them in the thing. It'll tell you how many you can take to a certain mission, and then you have those, and you can switch between them with a button. You just press the button, and instead of switching guns, you switch the character. You can trick out the characters with gear and stuff as you progress through the map. See, here's like the map. And so you kind of like pick on it. You go collect new characters by going to different maps and different levels. There's a nice story going on, and I would like to say the dialogue is great. It's really tough talk. It doesn't pull any punches. They're all kind of like foul mouthed, but not like annoyingly so. Just very much like a tough talking Western would be. So they're gonna swear and stuff. Everything's super Western flavored, which I enjoyed. And it just had some, like, you see the trailer. There's like 8 different characters or whatever. that can, I'm blocking this guy. You can't see him very well, but it all had voice acting, and the voice acting was fun. The trailer had like 8 or so characters that you could eventually unlock and get, and I don't know, it seemed really cool, really fun. I love the style of it. I love the Western feeling of it, and the shooting was good. Like I said, there's we saw a lot of story and stuff. Let me see if I can't skip you ahead. See, like see, this was the next mission. Go like get Smokey. Let's see if I can get you to here's some of the gear. We were able to go to a shop, get a little gear, and then we could like equip and get some advantages and whatnot. This was outside of a mission, so I don't know if it's like permanent progression, the gear you get. I don't really know how that part works. Again, roguelikes, you need to spend a little more time with them than I had today. But you see, here's an example of a bigger map, and you're kind of trying to plot out your route. You've got 3 turns. You can move so much per turn. You've got 3 turns before like an enemy's going to show up and start chasing you. So you're going to want to try to get as much loot as you can, get the extra character, and then get out of there before you get the guy chasing you gets to you. Or maybe, I don't know, maybe you could fight him and beat him. I don't know, but it did seem like you want to get out of there. So that's kind of how the roguelike part of it's set up. But I really like the style. I like the voice acting. I like the dialogue. I like the Western feel, but like this neon-soaked Western feel. Felt good. Reminded me of Battleborn in the style and the different characters for the shooty bits. And I really liked Battleborn. I think that's when I quit out of the game. But here, we'll show this again. I think it's the same level I just showed you. Whatever. But I really liked Battleborn for its style and variety of characters. The gameplay is different, quite different, but it reminded me of that. It was like, yo, I love that feeling of like, give me some cool characters that are neat and fun, and I can pick ones I like and get good at, and just see this awesome stuff going on. All right, so that was Wild Bastards, developed by Blue Manchu and published by Maxim Entertainment. I don't think I told you that last time. Sorry. The last ones, I always forget to tell you the devs and the publishers till the end. I don't know. Look, developed by Blue Manchu, published by Maxim Entertainment. All right, and we have one more for today, and it is, our last one is SCHiM. SCHiM. I don't know how to say it, but it is there we go. It is sorry, I didn't mean to double camera you. It is a platformer. You are a little shadow frog, and you can jump between the shadows. That's what you do, and you're trying to get back to the person that you are the shadow of, and you can only jump in the shadows. You can technically jump out of a shadow, but you can only be out of the shadow for like a second or two, and you only get one more very small jump to get yourself back into a shadow, like in case you missed. There's a nice like interact button, so whenever shadow, you can see the stuff jiggling and whatnot. Whatever shadow you're in, you can hit the interact button, and it will mess with the thing that you're a shadow of. So you can like mess with the dog, you can make a little bell ring, you can make the lights light up and stuff, like you could jiggle the people and do all this stuff. And it's quite nice. So like the later, this is the beginning, like the kind of tutorial essentially. But the later levels show some really interesting stuff with like streetlights turning off and on, so it changes the shadows of where you can be. Cars driving by and whatnot. So you've got to like ride in that shadow and then jump out at certain times. But at the beginning here, you also get to control this little kid, and I was really confused. And this game has a story. I thought it was just going to be little missions where you jump in the shadows and stuff, but this game has a story, and it starts you off with this quite touching story of this little kid and kind of him growing up, and then the next thing you know, you're separated from him, and then you kind of start the game proper, where you are trying to get back to him, and it's a series of stages where you see him at the end of the stage, and you got to figure out how to get through the stage, and then you get close, but then you've missed him, and so the next stage starts, and you see him. Oh, there he is, and you get to do it again. So that's how the stages work. But I was really confused, because the beginning of this tutorial was like, see, this is clever. Like, he can't get across, but the shadow can, and then I can turn the light green. Now, again, it seems to be, I don't know if this is just tutorial stuff, because after this was just the kind of beginning where you're playing with the kid and you're getting that emotional attachment so that you understand why you want to get back to him later on. But I was actually it got me some feels, and I was surprised. I was like, what? Well, I didn't expect feels. I expected just like a little puzzle game. But it did give me some feels. It was a little touchy story of this kid's life before you get separated from him. And then it was some fun. See, now he's older now, and you kind of just spend a lot of time with him. Let me see if I can get you into the levels proper, and we can see some of that. Here we go. We can see how that works. So here, this is a level you're trying to get so far. This is a level I had trouble with. The level I had a lot of trouble with. See, you got to get to the objective, and you're like, oh, I don't know how to get over there. And you're like, oh, we got to use the car and that kind of stuff. And then when you get to the end, it shows you another scene with another drawing, with maybe another color palette, with new objects going on and a different scenario happening, and a new like get to the end type objective. So I don't know. I thought this game was cool when I saw it, and I really wanted to see how it worked. And I'm glad. It's one of those games you're like glad you get to do a demo, because you're like, it looks cool. I think I'd be into it, but like, how does it work? And you really get to get a feel for how it works. It's like, yeah, you really do have to jump between the shadows. It is kind of chill most of the time, where you just get to jump between the shadows, and it's cute and fun, and you play with the stuff. And then other times it's like, well, how the heck do I get over there? That's pretty tricky. But also, it's got what I really didn't expect was this kind of emotionally charged story that made me really want to complete the levels. So I thought that was quite nice. I had a lot of fun with this one, and I thought it was just a really nice way to finish out Next Fest, because it was the last game we played. I tried to play. See, there he is. We're trying to get back to him, right? And that's like, all right, now where do we gotta go? And now we're over here. Okay, and we gotta get there. So that's how the levels work, and you explore all around. But so that is, and like I said, I thought this was a great way to end Next Fest, and I did in fact end it right there. Look at this nice title screen, and I did in fact stop playing the game right there. But let me bring you back to my big face. Hello. All right. Hopefully you were okay with that lesser production value run, so we can do this video. But I thought, look, I had a great day. It was a shorter day. I'm glad we got to do so many demos. I tried to really play some wild demos, like some just very different types of experiences because it was our last day. I really wanted to go for it, and I had a fantastic time. Next Fest was a blast. We played 6 out of the 7 days of Next Fest. I'm hoping to do like a bonus day because last time they did like a top 50 demos of Next Fest, and we grabbed some that were still running that we hadn't tried, and we had fun. It was like, yo, here's our little bonus where we check out the winners of Next Fest, right? So I'm hoping to maybe get one of those if they do that again. But I loved it. I love playing them all. I love seeing just the ideas on display of like upcoming games and getting to try them. I love the concept of demos. I love that they're popular and that people use them as marketing and use them as like a cool thing. Hey, our game has a demo, try it out. I think it's fantastic to try the game and see where it's going, and just to, the focus is on indie and small studios, and just to see like, what's the innovation coming out. You know what I mean? This is coming right at the end of Summer Game Fest, which I actually thought this was the best one. The presentations I saw I don't know, like half of them. Very few presentations annoyed me, where usually they all do. So so it was really cool, but it was like, here's your big, well, a lot of them were on indies and small studios, but there also was, here's your big AAA mainstream games coming out, and then to be really followed up right by Next Fest, and it was like, all the announcements that weren't big AAA usually were like, hey, we got a demo coming up right now, or we're gonna have a demo in Next Fest, and so you could write them down and then come to them, and then also, and just also like AAA is cool and you got all these big experiences, but then like, here's like the stuff with texture, You know what I mean? Like the stuff that's right here and you can feel and it's new and it's rough and it's interesting. It's not smooth and shiny and whatever, but you know what? Sometimes you don't want that. Sometimes you just want like, what's the new things? It's a little rough because it's brand new. We just dug it out of the mine, This is fresh. Fresh and exciting. It's never been seen before. Some unpolished gem. And I love it. I think Next Fest is probably the best way to experience, like the indie scene and the future of games, because it's all right there and you can play it. It's like going to a big expo where all the cool upcoming indie games are there and they've all got little booths where you could play, but you just get to do it wherever you can, at home or whatever, in your time for the whole week, and just play the demos. And there's always so many. There's always way more that I wanted to get to. I think I had like 62 demos I had, and we got through, I don't know, an average of 4, so like 25 of them. We'll round up because I did a few extra today. We did like 25 of them, so I had way more that I wanted to try, as I always do. And they were all great. Like there was a couple that had some technical issues that I couldn't really get into. There was some that weren't really my type of game, and there were some that I was like, yo, I need to get this. It's amazing. But I had fun playing all of them. I loved it. I loved this week. So I don't know. Just thank you for hanging out with me for it, for joining me on it. I hope you had a fantastic Next Fest. I hope you participate in the next fest and see it. They do them, I think, like 3 times a year, something like that. I think there's another one coming up in the fall ish. This is like the spring/summer one. Like technically summer's in 2 days, but if you go calendar, summer starts I think in June. I don't think it's July, but astrally it's June 20th this year. But I think it was fantastic. Hopefully you saw some demos you liked. Hopefully you just had a good time. Hopefully you just get to enjoy it. Even if you just watched other people do it like me, hopefully you get to enjoy some of the fun of this big games festival of Next Fest. I love that because I love video games, and I think it's fantastic for video games. So, all right, I've rambled too much. I've rambled too much. People are like tuning out. But thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. I hope you had fun. Thank you for joining me on this week-long journey. I hope you have a good rest of your day. I'm sorry this probably won't have timestamps. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Wonderful. It's probably the start of the week. It'll be Monday or something when it's posted. So, because Monday now. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your week. I hope things go great for you. Thanks for hanging out. And I don't know. I might chill out on the videos because they're just a lot for me. But like I said, I tried to not do one today, and I did anyway. So we'll see how it goes. But either way, I hope you do great. I'll catch you in the next one, whenever that is. And I'll see you around.